Good afternoon, everybody. Today we'll discuss physiology of regulation of heart rate. Objectives of today's talk is innervation of heart, regulation of heart rate, role of vasomotor center in regulation of heart rate, and clinical application of this regulation of heart rate. Now let's start with the innervation of heart. There is a central nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Central nervous system is basically supplying the whole body. It has got two divisions, one is called as somatic, other is a autonomic. But central has got control on the both. Now regulation of heart is from vasomotor center, which is located in the brainstem here. Okay, the center is located here. From here the nerves are arising and supplying. The most important basic nerve is the vagus nerve, which supplies the heart. It is a parasympathetic nerve, and that is called as vagus because it has got a very vagabond course right from head to toe at many places in the body, right from the heart, lungs, intestine, kidney, ureter, everywhere it is going. That's why it has got a long vagabond course. That's why it is called as a vagus. It is a parasympathetic nerve to the heart. Then sympathetic chain is coming from spinal cord, thoracic segment. Afferent nerves are basically the 9th and again the 10th. Vagus also afferent also. So this circuit is basically called as a baroreceptor circuit because the receptor located in the vessel, these are giving response to the change in the pressure. So that's why it is called as a baroreceptor, means receptor giving response to the change in pressure. Close look at innervation. The vagus nerve on the right side is supplying the SC node and left vagus is supplying the AV node. That's why right vagus stimulation has got more influence on the rate of the heart because it is supplying the SC node. Similarly, the sympathetic chain is supplying from both sides. Right side is supplying the right part of the heart, that is the right ventricle, and left is supplying the left ventricle, and the left ventricle, as it is dominating, it has got more impact on the cardiac output. So these are the sympathetic nerves supplying the heart. Now just to refresh your knowledge regarding effect of this ANS stimulation on the pacemaker potential. So whenever there is a vagal stimulation, if you recall, there is an opening of voltage gated potassium channel, potassium efflux rises. That's why this slope becomes slanting. That's why there is a decrease in the heart rate. Exactly opposite, when there is stimulation of sympathetic nerves, there is opening of transient calcium channel. Because of this, this slope becomes more acute and there is increase in the heart rate. The autonomic nervous system is the principal means by which the heart rate is controlled. Apart from this, local factors such as temperature change, tissue stretch can affect the heart rate. Parasympathetic tone usually dominates. Now how we come to know this? By giving blockers. If you are giving a blocker of parasympathetic nerve, that is atropine is given, which is blocking the acetylcholine, heart rate usually increases substantially. On the contrary, if the sympathetic blockers are given like propranolol is given, heart rate usually decreases only slightly. So in comparison, the vagal tone is more dominating as compared to sympathetic, and if both are cut, when both sympathetic and parasympathetic are blocked, the heart rate increases, and this is called as the intrinsic heart rate. That means heart was under control from vagus and that is a release phenomena, heart rate is increased. Now the vasomotor center, which is located in the brainstem, is basically controlled by so many factors. So basically heart rate regulation comes from this. Higher centers are controlling this. Then there is a baroreflex mechanism which reflexively controls the heart rate. Atrial receptors are there located in the right atrium. Then respiratory sinus arrhythmia. This is the influence of respiration on heart rate. Apart from this, peripheral proprioceptors from different part of the body, they have got again influence on the vasomotor center and they are indirectly affecting the heart rate. Now if you just look again, the vasomotor center, vagus nerve, sympathetic chain, afferent nerve, and baroreceptor. Now this is the, you can see this is the border of cortex, that's why it is called as a limbic cortex. So it is a limbic system which is nothing but a border of the cortex. And if you recall, in the lecture I have taken regarding limbic system, this is the emotional center of the body. All the body emotions, positive as well as negative, are basically being held up from the limbic system. That is the subconscious mind. Our anxiety, our depression, our happiness, our peace, all are coming to this. And that's why whenever there is emotional influence on the individual, this will affect the heart rate. Cortex is above this one, and limbic system has got a close loop with the hypothalamus. If you recall, hypothalamus is the basic, very center part of limbic system, and in hypothalamus all the vegetative functions are controlled, and one of them is basically ANS. So now from here there is a communication. So whenever there is a cortical influence, it will come from the limbic system, hypothalamus through the ANS system. So our all emotions are ultimately affecting our heart through this circuit only. So cerebral cortex is principally in the frontal lobe or vital cortex, motor, premotor cortex, anterior part of the temporal lobe. All these are influencing. So here you can see the peripheral receptors are ultimately coming back and they're influencing from the premotor cortex. Fibers are responsible for blood pressure rise and tachycardia produced by emotions. So our all emotional drive, whenever we are anxious, for example, you are coming for the examination, practical examination, viva, you are standing in the row, moment your number is coming, your heart rate started to increase in anticipation. What question will be asked? I'm about to answer or not. So in that you can feel yourself when you are facing the viva. Just before entering the viva room, in fact, when you are second and third in the row, your heart rate start to increase. This is nothing but an emotional anxiety. So that is coming from the limbic system, hypothalamus, and it is coming down through ANS nerve, sympathetic system, vasomotor center, sympathetic stimulation, heart rate rises. Now this, we will see what is the role of baroreflex mechanism. Just first we'll just try to see the circuit to baroreceptor. It is coming from carotid sinus, located at the carotid artery, as well as aortic arch. So in this, in the vessel wall, there are receptors are there which are giving response to the stretch. So whenever there is change in blood pressure, when the blood pressure rises, there will be stretch, blood pressure decrease, stretch reduces. So they are giving response to stretch, that's why they are called as baroreceptor. Now from this aortic arch, impulse is going from the vagus nerve, that's 10th, and from this carotid arch, it is going from the glossopharyngeal, that is 9th nerve. All of them are going to this NTS, that is called as nucleus tractus solitarius. Now here the neurotransmitter release is the glutamate. So this is the nucleus tractus solitarius located in the medulla. So it is excitatory in nature. From here it will go to this lateral medullary nucleus. So now all the excitation inhibition depends on the neurotransmitter release at the different neurons. So here the neurotransmitter release is the GABA, that is gamma aminobutyric acid, which is inhibitory in nature. So these are the bulbospinal pathways, presympathetic ganglion. So this is the circuit. So whenever there is increase in blood pressure because of any reason, whatever, you may suddenly stand, you may, whatever influence is there, rising blood pressure, what will happen now? Impulse will be coming from carotid sinus, as these are stretched because of increase in pressure. Impulse will travel to the nucleus tractus solitarius, release of glutamate. This impulse will go to the RVLM. This will again release positive transmitter, that's glutamate. Now what will happen now? They will be stimulating this GABA release. Now what will happen? And there is decrease in heart rate, as because of the GABA, vagus is inhibited. Because of inhibition, vagus is stimulated and there is decrease in the heart rate. Because here the transmitter was glutamate. Okay, so there is a break because of the GABA and there is a decrease in heart rate. So this is the bioreflex mechanism which is working. Similarly, in the right atrium there are some receptors are there in the right atrium which are again stretch receptor. So whenever there is an increase in pressure in the right atrium because of any reason, what will happen? Atrial receptor stretch, impulse will go from this to the NTS. There is again the release of inhibitory transmitter. Now this will inhibit. Now unopposed inhibition, heart rate will rise. So ultimately, all is because of the transmitters which are released at the different sites. If inhibitory transmitters are released, they will inhibit the vagus. If excitatory transmitters are released, they will excite the vagus. And ultimately, heart rate will change accordingly. Now, these are the respiratory neurons which are located, called as dorsal respiratory group of neuron. During inspiration, there is a ramp signal coming from DRG. Now, what will happen? This will inhibit the vagus. So, when the vagus is inhibited, heart rate will rise. So, in the inspiration, heart rate rises. In expiration, heart rate decreases. So, this is called as sinus arrhythmia. Okay, because of the respiration, there is change in the heart rate. So, respiratory sinus arrhythmia, neural activity in the vagal fibers decreases during inspiration. Neural activity in the vagal fiber increases during expiration. So, heart rate will increase during inspiration, will decrease during expiration. Now, this very important thing we can utilize to check the autonomic functions. So, through this simply, what we do, we take the ECG of the person and we ask him to take deep inspiration and expiration, and we'll see the change in the heart rate. If the heart rate is changing in proportion, that means autonomic nervous system is functioning normally. And if there is no change in heart rate during inspiration, this will indicate that autonomic dysfunction is there. So this is very important autonomic function test. So we can use this as to check the autonomic function. So it is called as autonomic function test, ANS function. So through the ECG and asking the person to take respirations at slow rate and finding the heart rate, we can check the autonomic function. So applied aspect of this one, as the heart rate changes, so we can use the blockers, we can use atropine, we can use the propranolol. So these are the clinical applications. These drugs are used whenever there is a change in the heart rate. Suppose the heart rate is decreased, that time you can give atropine to increase the heart rate. If the heart rate is increased in the patient, the arrhythmias are there, we are giving blockers, we are giving propranolol. So propranolols are given in case of arrhythmias, and atropine is given in case of when heart rate is decreased, in case of congestive cardiac failure. Means sometimes we need to increase the heart rate, that time atropine is given. Sometimes we have to suppress the heart rate as it is abnormally increased, that time we are using propranolol. So neural activity increases in the sympathetic fibers during inspiration and decreases during the expiration. So this is the application of heart rate regulation. So here we are completing heart rate regulation. Innervation of heart we have seen the regulation of heart rate, role of vasomotor center, and vasomotor center is ultimately affecting through cerebral cortex, limbic system, bioreflex mechanism, atrial stretch receptors, and the respiratory sinus arrhythmia. So here we have finished the regulation of heart rate. Thank you.